Welcome back to another video on the power of the BI. Welcome back to another video on the power of the BI. This is the #1 YouTube video location for learning Power BI, and I want to welcome you here. We're going to cut right to the chase. We're going to go right into what does it take in order to learn Power BI, because that's why you are here. So we're going to jump right over here into Google, and I just want to show you that it really is just this simple. So all we're going to do is we're going to go over to Google and we're going to put into the search Power BI download desktop, or download Power BI, or download Power BI desktop. However you want to word it, what you're going to get is you're going to get this particular link, which is going to pop up first right here, which is going to take us right over to the Microsoft website in order to learn, or in order to download Power BI desktop. So I'm just going to click this link just to see if it works for me, because I want to see how it is going to work for you. And of course, it's doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. It brought us right over here to the website to download Power BI. I'm not going to do this because I already have it on my desktop, but it really is just as simple. You're just going to click this blue button here right under Microsoft Power BI desktop. You're going to click this blue button here and you are going to download the latest version of Power BI. Now you say, well, Tarad, what if I have a Mac? I mean, does it work for Mac as well? That's a good question, and I'm glad you asked, because the answer is absolutely not. It does not work on Mac. On a Mac. We are going to look at a way in order for you to work within Power BI if you have a Mac, but we're going to do that a little later. But as far as downloading Power BI desktop, you cannot. I don't like using cannot. You are not able to download Power BI desktop at this time. At the time of the filming of this video, you are not able to download Power BI to a MacBook or to your iPad or to your mobile phone directly to the device. You must have a PC in order to download Power BI desktop. The reason why I'm being very careful in telling you this, or explaining this to you, is because you are able to use those devices, but not Power BI desktop. You must have a PC in order to utilize or download Power BI desktop. So now here's the deal. Many people ask me all the time, many people ask me, I don't know, it just sounded kind of cool to say that. What's the best computer to use? Now, what I will say is this, from a spec standpoint, when I say spec, the specifications of a computer, I believe that Power BI desktop can run on any desktop or laptop computer. To be honest, I've never downloaded to a desktop because I haven't had a desktop computer in such a long time. But I do have laptops, and I've had several laptops, whether they've been personal laptops or business laptops. I typically use, well, I always use a PC laptop in order to download Power BI desktop. Now, specification wise, I believe that you are able to download Power BI desktop with a minimum of an 8 gigabyte hard drive. I suggest 16 gigs. I suggest at least a 16 gigabyte hard drive. Now, in a lot of cases, you're probably, especially starting out, being brand new, you're probably not going to be able to, you're probably not going to maximize the whole 16 gigs. But if you end up on a project, or if you end up with the job and you're working off of your personal laptop, 16 gigs could be, you could reach that. Or at the end of the day, I'm not going to go too in depth into why. I'm just going to say that I believe that you could probably suffice with an 8 gigabyte hard drive. My suggestion is a 16 gigabyte hard drive. Now, all of the other specifications that comes around, what comes with a computer, the processing speed, the actual display, the monitor, and all of those different deals. I'm not going to say that that doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter. For the most part right now, what I'm saying is getting started, what you need is a minimum of 8 gig and suggested 16 gigabyte hard drive. Now, when you ask me, what brand computer do you suggest? So off top, what I'm gonna let you know is there is no computer company, computer manufacturer that is sponsoring this segment of Power of the BI, right? So all of this information I'm gonna be giving you is totally my opinion based on computers that I have used in the past, whether they be personal or whether they be business, where they came in from the company of which I may have been working at the time. So my current computer that I'm using is, so as you can see here, I'm currently using an HP. I don't know which version or which specific type of HP this is, but I like HP. Did I just close? I closed oh. I don't think we're on here anyway. Okay, yeah. So I don't know which model HP. It's a HP Envy by 360 laptop. Yeah, I don't know which model HP it is. I've had good experience with HP. I've had a couple of HPs that didn't work well for me, or I'm not gonna say they didn't work well. I may not in the very beginning when I first started working on Power BI on the laptop. I may have had a little overkill. I may have had too much information, too much data. What I'm saying is, rather than having a 16 gigabyte hard drive, I probably had an 8 gigabyte hard drive, and that's probably the reason why the computer crashed on me. But I have had an HP computer crash on me before. This computer has been pretty good. I actually just bought this computer a few months ago, but it's actually been pretty good as far as, being able to do what I needed to do with Power BI and everything else. So I believe HP is a pretty good brand when it comes to laptops that are good for Power BI. I have a Sony over here. I'll grab it. I can't get up. Let's see. Let me take my microphone off. And my apologies to Sony, because it is not a Sony. My apologies to Sony. It is not a Sony. I don't know if you can hear me with my microphone all going all kind of crazy ways. Looks like it's working here on my monitor. But it is, my apologies to Sony. It's not a Sony. It is a Samsung. Again, here is the Samsung here. I had to replace it. I actually bought this computer last year. I don't know the brand names or the model names, but this computer, I got this computer last May, and I had to replace it in April. I bought it from the local electronics store. I don't want to necessarily drop the name of the electronics store because, again, this is not sponsored by anyone, and I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm name dropping for people that is not name dropping for me. But anyway, I ended up buying this computer last May. I replaced it this April with my current HP. It just crashed on me. I don't know why. I turned it on one day and I hit the on button and it just never turned back on. The guys over at the local store said that I could bring it up there and they could fix it. I was just a little teed off, so I never really took it back. I'll probably take it back up there and see what they come up with as far as fixing it. But right now, I'm gonna ride with my HP because it's doing what I need it to do. So like I said, currently I'm on an HP. I've had my computer before then was a Samsung. Now, work-wise, I've had a Toshiba. I've had a Toshiba. I really like Toshibas. Again, I've had a Toshiba that stopped working on me, but I mean, I know I really put that thing to the test. I had all kind of stuff on it, and it ran for a while. I'm talking about for a while, right? So it worked for me pretty good. So I definitely would recommend a Toshiba. I definitely would recommend an HP. Not necessarily sure if I would recommend a Samsung at this point. I may get another Samsung. I got this Samsung based off the recommendation of the salesperson. One, I was kind of in a bind as to not really wanting to spend a whole lot of money. I believe I got that Samsung for less than $500. You get what you pay for. This HP, I think I got for around $600. For a laptop, I normally like to spend somewhere between $500 and $700. I don't really like to go much over $700. Just because I know that eventually they're going to crash. If I can get a year out of a computer, I'm good. That's why I'm really not tripping on the Samsung, because you know it went from May to April, so I had about another month before I would expect it for it to blow up. I bought this HP here in May. We're in April, so I expect for it to go until April of next year. And if a computer crashes on me within 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I'm pretty much done. So that's why I'm saying I may go back to the Samsung and try their new product. I probably won't start with their base model product again. I'll probably start with a mid-level product, which will probably be in the $700 range, as opposed to the $556 range. So HP, I recommend. Toshibas, I recommend. The base model Samsung, I do not recommend. I'll say that again. The base model Samsung, I do not recommend. But I've had a lot of luck with Lenovo's. As a matter of fact, I have not had any bad luck with Lenovo. Those are some great computers. I remember when Lenovo, I'm not going to date myself, but Lenovo's, I would highly recommend. I think they're a little bit more pricey. I think that's why I never bought one on the personal end, because I think they're a little bit more pricey. But again, you get what you pay for. So with that said, if I had to give you HP, give you some recommendations, it would be HP, Toshiba, and Lenovo. Not necessarily in that particular order. In any order you put them, HP, Lenovo, Toshiba, however you put it, Toshiba, Lenovo, HP. I recommend those. The Samsung, the base model Samsung, I do not recommend. If any of you guys out there are having some good luck with Samsungs, let me know, or which model Samsung. And I definitely wouldn't mind checking it out. Now, what we're looking at here is the actual Power BI desktop. This is actually my desktop here in Power BI. So when you downloaded your Power BI desktop, I am going to do something here real quick. I'm going to go to File, Blank Report. I'm going to actually show you what it's going to look like when you bring this in, because this is actually skipping a step, and I want you to be able to see exactly what's going on. So you downloaded Power BI desktop to your computer. Now, when you downloaded Power BI desktop and you click the Power BI icon, this is what you got, right? This is what you got. Well, this is the screen that it brought you to, which is the Power BI model view screen. But this is what we call Power BI desktop. In Power BI desktop, you're able to create different data visualizations. And those different visualizations can be, these are the different visualizations that you would bring in. All of these visuals that you can click on over to the right under what's called the visualizations, and it says build the visual. These are the different visualizations that you can create. And basically what you would do is you would drag this data, you would drag the visualization into this screen, and this is your model view screen. Here's a map. Here is area shading, or let's see here, we've got let me go back. So what's happening here is, if I don't click off of this visual, the visual is going to change. So I actually had the area shading here, and then I click clustered bar chart, so it replaced it. So I'm going to come back and I am going to bring the area chart back in, which gives us an area shading. And basically, you know, as we can see here, I am just, see, this is a line with on a bar chart. And of course, all of this changes when you bring the data in. We don't have any data in here, so nothing is really going to show up, but it's giving us an idea of what type of visualizations we are going to see if we bring the data in. And of course, now we've got different visualizations. We've brought the visualizations into our report view, and basically that's what we have. Is we have a report, and this is the report view. If we had any data for these visualizations, that data would pop up inside of these different visuals, and the data that we would use for the different reports would be populated here in the y-axis and in the categories for this particular visual. And for this visual, it will, all of these areas would not necessarily need to be populated, but you would have an X and a Y axis for the column chart. I mean, for the column chart, and then you would have information that would be needed to be populated for the line chart as well. This is a visual here that would be a map. It could be a street map. It could be a geographical map. It could be different types of maps, but that visual is a representation of a map visual. But only thing I'm really trying to show you here is that this is the desktop version for Power BI. And in the desktop version, there's several different views that we would look at. This is the report view. And here, if we come down to this icon is going to take us over to the model view. No, the data view, I'm sorry. And in the data view, if we had data that was in here, it would show us all of the data. It shows the columns and the rows, the different tables that would be associated with the different visualizations that we build out here. So we've got, here is the report view, and then we would have all of the data here, and here in this particular icon, that icon is going to take us to the model view. And as you can see, we can see now that we're getting a visualization showing relationships being built. And if there were tables in here, we would connect these tables via the relationships, and that would actually give us the model views of the relationships. So again, this would be the model view, and here we would have the data view, and here we would have the report view. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to the report that I was showing you initially. As I said, it was skipping a step. I don't want to save that. Okay, close. So now, in very simple terms, now what we have again, we have the report view, but here in the report view, we have a visualization. This visualization is actually considered to be a matrix, and we have images. These images are visualizations as well, because simply a visualization is just something simply that you can see, right? Something that you can see in a report. So we've got images and we have a visualization here, which is a matrix. And as I was telling you before, now that we have data, that data is being populated in the rows of this matrix visual, and it is actually showing us the values of the numbers that are used. I'm not going to go in depth into showing you how this report was built. I just want you to understand that the visualizations are here, and then we've got the data, which is being pulled from these tables over here, and then the data that's being used is being pulled into the rows, and it's been pulled into the values, as well as now we can come down to the model view. We'll come over to the model view page, and what I was telling you before, now we have data, so we can see each one of the tables that's associated with this particular report. So as I click on the table name, it is showing me the actual tables. It's giving me the table information, and it's telling me, you know, what's in the tables, the columns, the rows, whether it's text, whether it's text, whether it's numbers. But at the end of the day, this is the data that's being used over here in the report view. So these tables here provide the data that is creating this actual matrix visualization here. And again, these tables are coming from these tables over here in the data view. We can make changes to the tables in the report view, but if I make any changes, I like to make my changes in the data view. I don't like to make changes in the report view. So I'm not going to necessarily show you that, but you will be able to figure that out if you decided to take my course, Power of the BI. Now, also we have the model view. What I was showing you before was the visual showing you how all the tables have relationships. And basically what we have here is we have what would be considered to be a table that is at the center of the star schema, and the other relationships are built off, well, actually this would probably be the center of the star schema, and the other relationships as to how they're connected to one another would all be part of that star. So this table is connected to this table, and we see it by the relationship that is between the two highlighted columns that you're seeing here. And this table is related to this table, and we'll see it by, let's see if I can find it without having to expand too much. There we go. So now this table is related to this table, and it's connected via this relationship, and this particular column is the column that is shaded, is the column that is that the relationships are built on. Again, not trying to go too deep right now, I'm just trying to show you Power BI Desktop, just trying to show you Power BI Desktop. So again, in Power BI Desktop, we have the report view, we have the data view, we have the model view. Now there's a lot of, as you can tell, there are other things that comes across at the top of the ribbon, and you know there are many other things that are associated with it. But the basic components of understanding the desktop version is that there's the report view, the data view, and the model view. And here we are looking at the Power BI model view. I'm sorry, this is the Power BI report view, but we're looking at Power BI desktop. Now, when you went over to the web page to download Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop was absolutely free, and that's one of the good things about Power BI. That's one of the probably more positive things about Power BI is that to work in it is absolutely free, right? Many of the text programs that you're learning that are out there, there's in most cases you have to either pay for the application or pay for a service. Now, Microsoft does have a service that you do have to pay for when it comes to Power BI, but not Power BI Desktop. So you can actually create projects, you can create portfolios, you can work inside of Power BI without having to pay for a service. Here, we are creating our project in Power BI Desktop. And in most cases, 99.99% of the time, you're going to be creating your Power BI projects within Power BI Desktop. So it's free. It's free. Where I'm going with that is, if you're working for the company's going to pay for it if you need to pay for something. But if you're just building projects and you want to create a portfolio or you want to use your own laptop, you can, because it's free. Right? This is Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is free. Now, where I'm going with that is, in order to be able to share your project, you would publish it, and you would publish it out to the web, right? You would publish it out to the web, and then you'll be able to share it in different forms. You can share it via email. You can share it via an app. Long story short, there are different ways that you can share it to others that have access. Would be able to access it. They cannot access it from your desktop. They can only access it if you're sharing it, right? Now, where I'm going with that is, you're going to publish it, and when you publish it, it is going to go. Let's see here. Let's see if we can make it move. Okay, so now, as you can see, very similar to what we were looking at before, but no, this is no longer on the desktop. This is now actually out there on the web. You can share this. You can share it with other individuals. You can embed it. I mean, it's a lot of things you can do. But the bottom line is, this is considered to be Power BI service, right? This is considered to be Power BI service. Simply put, it's published to the web. At the end of the day, it's published to the web. And basically, in this particular report, it has 3 pages. It has an income statement, it has a balance sheet, and it has a statement of cash flows, right? Only thing I'm trying to get across here is that this report the report that we built on our laptop, and we wanted to share it to the world, we published it to the web. We published it. We just hit publish, it went out, and it went to service. So this is the web portion of Power BI, or where your projects would reside, is called service, right? It's app.powerbi.com. That's where it will go. Now, they do offer they offer you to have the ability to have service. I'm going to say on a discount, or they give you a certain number of days free, or maybe 90 days free, or something like that. But I believe, don't quote me, but I believe that service is about $9 or $10 a month, right? $9 or $10 a month, and it allows you to be able to publish your projects to service. If you're working for a company, this is necessary. There is no way around this. This is what Power BI. This is the minimum. As an individual, the minimum Power BI you will need is desktop, right? But for a company, the minimum you will need, the minimum the company needs is Power BI Pro. Power BI Pro gives you access to publish your projects to service, and then those that have the same email domain will be able to access the projects if you give them permission to do so. Again, they must have the same email domain. What does that mean? Let's just say that it's Randall at abc123.com. Everyone that works at abc123.com, or everyone that has a abc123.com email address, will be able to access the project if you give those individuals permission. Again, they would have to have permission to do so, and they would have to have permission either from you or the Power BI admin or administrator within the organization would have to give those individuals permission. But again, this is called service. This is Power BI service, and you get Power BI service by having a Power BI Pro account, So we've talked about desktop being having the report, the data, and the model view, and we're creating the reports within desktop. And then once we create the reports within desktop, we publish it from desktop, and it goes out to service, which is Power BI or app.powerbi.com. And at that point, you must have a Power BI Pro account, which is somewhere around $9 or $10 a month in order to have a Power BI Pro account. If you're trying to level up, I got 5 reasons why you need to be learning Power BI. First off, Power BI is in demand like crazy. Companies everywhere is using data to make moves. If you know Power BI, you're gonna be in the middle of all that action. Next up, it's mad easy to learn. Whether you're a beginner or already got some skills, Power BI has got a smooth interface that'll have you up and running in no time. Now, let's talk visuals. Power BI lets you turn data into fire visuals, interactive reports that pop and they're perfect for showing out in meetings. Fourth, it's all about the career growth. The demand for data-driven jobs is huge, and knowing Power BI is your ticket to some real money-making roles. Lastly, it integrates with just about everything. SQL, Excel, Azure, other cloud services. You can pull data in from just about everywhere. Hey, I am holding a free webinar. No hard sales. I'll be giving you access to my course, Power of the BI. I'm going to be dropping a huge discount. Just come and learn. I'll send you a link for easy registration. Now, jumping back over here to the Power BI desktop. So here's the deal. We have the desktop version. So if we publish this to the web, we can see it on the desktop version, right? We can see it on the computer screen on the desktop. But we can also design our Power BI projects for mobile devices. So right down here in the left-hand corner, we see right now, it's under desktop. It's showing desktop layout view here in the bottom left-hand corner. But I'm going to click on this version, and it says mobile layout view. So I don't have a report that's built out mobily, but we would build it the same way. We would design it the same way, well, not necessarily the exact same way, but the same manner in which we would create desktop reports. We would create mobile reports. And if I go here and I say auto create mobile layout, so basically now it's showing me it used the same data that we used for the desktop version. I just used the auto create, which is just an AI version, and it may not be considered AI, but to me it's AI. We just created an auto version, and let's see here. Don't necessarily, so we can move the data around. Oh, you know what? The reason why we're not seeing the pictures that were in the desktop version is because the pictures were not actual images that were brought in. It was actually, it's actually images that I had embedded into that background. Long story short, no need to worry about that. but this is the only visualization that was actually on the only Power BI visualization that was being used. I was trying to figure out where were the pictures, but the pictures are not here because it was embedded into the background. But bottom line is, this is the mobile version. So you would publish it the same way. You would publish it, and then those that have mobile devices, they would be able to access it via the mobile device. Now, if you remember before, I was very specific in saying, hey, you must have Power BI Desktop in order to create Power BI reports. That's what I meant. You must have, well, not necessarily. So if you can go to app.powerbi.com. You can go to what we just saw previously, Power BI Service, and you can create. You have the ability to create some report aspect from Power BI Service. The thing about Power BI Service is not as robust as creating from Power BI Desktop. So there are a lot of things that you're not going to be able to do in Power BI Service and app.powerbi.com that you're able to do with desktop. That's why I say you must have Power BI. You probably are not going to be able to hear me because my doggone microphone failed. But you're not able to access Power BI Service, or you're not able to have as much. You're not able to do as much with Power BI, design as much in Power BI Service as you are in Power BI Desktop. So with that, just understand that with Power BI Mobile, you would design Power BI Mobile the same way as you would design Power BI Desktop, and then you would publish it, and then those devices would be able to have access to the form factor of a mobile device. Now, let's talk pricing. I am hearing an echo, so I'm going to turn this speaker down just a little bit, the microphone down just a little bit. So let's talk pricing. So as I said before, Power BI Desktop is free. Power BI Desktop is free. So if you want to go out there and you want to create some projects, some reports, build out a portfolio, you are able to do so for totally free. Again, very much so unlike other tech applications and programs and softwares you've got to pay for. Power BI Desktop is free. Now you've got to take this into consideration. If it's free, what is Microsoft saying? Microsoft pretty much is telling me that we want as many people using Power BI Desktop as possible. This is something that's really coming down the pipe. It hadn't just landed, from the moon yet, from outer space yet, but it's coming. Power BI is going to be a tool that is going to revolutionize the business world, the corporate world. And those that understand it, those that can work it, those that know it, those that are able to create reports and be good at it, they're going to make a lot of money. They're going to be in high demand. Those that choose to avoid it and to not participate, hey, better luck to you, right? But what I'm telling you is it's free. The desktop version is free. Take advantage of it. Power BI Pro. I just spoke about Power BI Pro a minute ago. And at the end of the day, what is Power BI Pro? Power BI Pro, it allows you to publish. Your projects to app.powerbi.com. It gives you the ability to create an app using your reports. I'm not going to get too in depth into the difference between a report, a published report, and an app. But it allows you to do some things that businesses are going to require you to do. You're going to be able to create an app, create some workspaces all of that, all of which you learn in Power of the BI. You learn all of this in Power of the BI, but just understand that Power BI Pro is $14 per month. And I thought it was 9 or 10. I guess that it's been a while since I actually bought my subscription, but it currently is $14 per month. Power BI Desktop is free. Power BI Premium. Now, when you start talking Power BI Premium, at that point you're definitely talking. You're into the enterprise level. Small business, maybe mid-sized business, maybe, but you're into the business level. I can understand why you would want Power BI Premium once you've gone through the free phase, once you've gone through the pro phase, and you want to learn some of the things and be able to have access to some of the things in that Microsoft is affording you to be able to do with Power BI, so that you'll be able to speak more intelligently when you are having your interviews or introducing certain things to your company. You're able to practice within your own environment. So Power BI Premium will allow you to do that. Let's just go through the stage. Power BI Premium includes all features of Pro, access large model sizes, more frequent refreshes, availability to buy now with the credit card. Yeah. So at the end of the day, what I really see when it comes to Power BI Premium is the more refreshes. So what that tells me is that with Power BI Pro, you are able to create scheduled refreshes, but with Power BI Premium, you're able to create more refreshes, right? And basically refreshes just allowing you to update your data for your reports to update at certain times of the day or certain times that you specify. That's what a refresh does. With Power BI Pro, you have a certain number of refreshes. With Power BI Premium, it's saying that you can do that even more. Power BI Embedded. Definitely, when it comes to Power BI Embedded, it's an enterprise tool, right? It's an enterprise tool, and basically, what Embedded does is Embedded allows you to have a portal access for customers within your company. I actually worked on an embedded project on the Power BI side along with the Java developers, to where I was creating the Power BI reporting phase, and the Java team was creating the actual that Java end of it. I'm not real familiar with how Java works from a day-to-day and operation, but what it did was I was creating the report for a gas station. So pretty much the customers of the gas station, not necessarily the end customers of the gas station, but let's just say those that provided the coffee would be able to log into the Power BI. The vendors of the gas station that provided the coffee would be able to log in and see how much coffee was used on a certain day, what times of day the coffee was sold the most, the types of coffee that was sold the most, the sizes of the coffee cups that were sold at different times of day, and things like that. So basically, as I said before, individuals that have the same domain name as the same email domain and given permission would be able to have access to your Power BI report. But even deeper from an embedded side, individuals that don't have your email domain name but have access via an embedded report would have the ability to access the report. Another way to embed a report is to embed a Power BI report in a website, so that when you log onto the website, you're able to access the Power BI report. That's a whole nother animal. And Power BI Embedded is a whole nother animal. It's not something that you as a young or new Power BI developer would need to be able to do in the very beginning stages of your Power BI development. That just gives you some idea of what that is. So we've discussed the free account. Of course, Power BI Desktop is free. The Pro account is just like Power BI Desktop, but now you can publish it, and you're able to schedule refreshes and do some of the other things, create apps, and do some of the other things, little bit more advanced things than what you would have access to using Power BI Desktop. Power BI Premium is very similar to Power BI Desktop. You get more scheduled refreshes than on Power BI Desktop. There's some there are a few more nuances that are available too for Power BI Premium, but again, there's no need to get into that. And then Power BI Embedded, the cost for Power BI Embedded is going to vary, and it's going to vary on the number of users within the organization. That's why, again, I say that is definitely an enterprise application. Then there is the ability to explore Power BI within Fabric plans. Fabric is Microsoft has many products, many business enterprise related products that are cloud based. I'm trying to explain this as much as I can without going too far, too deep, or not giving you enough information. So Microsoft has several products within its cloud-based infrastructure, and Fabric is what wraps all of that together. Okay, Fabric is what wraps all of that data engineering, data analytics, all the data analytics, data engineering pieces together. We don't have to go too deep into Fabric, just to understand that you can get data from Fabric just as you can get data from other places when you are getting data within your Power BI desktop. As you can see, the prices for the Fabric plans are not much different than the prices for just having Power BI. So does it really make sense to have Power BI without being part of the Fabric plan? No, you should get the Fabric plans if you can, if you're gonna pay. Free account, Fabric capacity reservation. It's gonna, again, just like Power BI Embedded, the Fabric plans are going to vary by the number of individuals within an organization. I do believe you're able to access Power BI within Fabric without having to have all of the data engineering and the other data engineering plans, which would eventually you could use, but right now I wouldn't bog down my energy so much as to doing so, and definitely not into paying for plans that you're probably not going to use. Fabric capacity, pay as you go. We're not going to get into capacity and pay as you go, but there are, and I'm speaking here, and I just didn't even show you the Fabric plans. But here we can see the Power BI. We can compare it to Microsoft Fabric, as I was saying before. Again, I would not be looking to pay for Fabric plans as of yet. I would only be doing what is free or working within Power BI inside the Fabric environment where it is free. Now, with Power BI, there's several different variations of SKUs that are sold by Microsoft. And I'm not going to go too deep into this. I'm just going to give you the super basics. I'm showing them to you here. If you want to learn more, this is definitely for those that are overachievers that want to know more, learn more, do more. So there are different SKUs of Power BI that are out there. And as you can see, you've got F2, F4, F8, F16. F32, F64, F128, F256, F512 to the second, F1024 to the second, and F2048 to the second. And those capacities are 248, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, and 2048. Not gonna go too deep into that. This is simply for those of you who want to know something, who want to know Power BI, and you want to know, the intricate details. Here you go. Just Google or go to Microsoft SKU computing power, right? And you can learn even more there. I'll be honest. I don't think that there's going to be a time in the very near future for you to where when you're creating a Power BI report that you are going to have to bog yourself down with the SKU computing power. But you could be involved in conversations within management with your customers, and they're asking you, what do you think is best for the organization? So you've got some figures that you know of when it comes to Power BI, Power BI Free, Power BI Pro, Power BI Premium, and Power BI Desktop. Then there are the SKUs. You can Google relatively get relative pricing for each one of the SKU levels. But for the most part, you're probably not going to need this right now, but it is good information to have, good information to know that it is out there. So I think this is pretty good. I mean, there's a lot more that we can do when it comes to having the basics of Power BI, but I think that this is the basics of Power BI, and I think it's going to get us quite a ways as we are building out our first and our entry level Power BI reports. So once again, thank you for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.